Being able to speak English fluently and confidently is not just about the number of words you've mastered, or the total number of English expressions you've written down, or the total number of grammar rules that you understand. Instead, being able to speak English fluently and confidently is tied to your ability to speak clearly and concisely. And in today's lesson, I am going to give you 7 steps that will help you finally speak clearly and concisely. Are you ready? Well then, I'm Teacher Tiffany. Let's jump right in. Step number 1. Step number 1, and I want you to make sure you are writing these down. Step number 1 is organize your thoughts before speaking. Once again, organize your thoughts before speaking. It's important to take a moment to structure your message mentally before delivering it. You want to make sure your ideas are organized in your own thoughts before you try to share them with other people. You are intelligent. That's a fact. You are smart. That is a fact. Before you speak, in order for other individuals to recognize your intelligence and to recognize your English speaking ability, you need to organize your thoughts and be prepared. So you're probably saying, Tiffany, how can I do this? Step number 1, write down key points or create a quick outline before speaking. This is going to help you immensely. Write things down. Write your key points, what you like to say. Then step 2, break your message down into a clear beginning, a clear middle, and a clear end. Remember, your goal is to deliver your ideas, your thoughts in a clear and concise manner. So break your message down, beginning, middle, and end. Step number 3, use the 5 W's method to structure your thoughts. Write things down. Figure out what your starting point is, what your middle point is, and what your ending point is, and also use the 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, and why. My friend, I want you to speak clearly and concisely. And in order to do this, step number 1 is you must organize your thoughts before speaking. Step number 2, use the 1-3-1 method. I'll emphasize this again. Use the 1-3-1 method. What is the 1-3-1 method? 1 point, 3 reasons or examples, and then 1 point. A structured approach to deliver your message effectively. How can you do this? Again, 1 point, 3 examples or reasons, and then 1 point. The 1-3-1 method. Here is how you can actually use this or do this step. First, start with a clear main point that introduces your topic. A point that shows what you are trying to say, the message you are trying to get across. This is the first one. Clear main point that introduces your topic. Step number 2, support your main point with 3 distinct examples or pieces of evidence. Make sure your examples flow logically and build upon each other. 1 main point and then 3 distinct examples or reasons to support your point. Finally, the last one is return to your main point at the end, which will reinforce what you were saying, and you're reinforcing it with the evidence presented. In other words, this method, the 1-3-1 method, can be called a sandwich. You're starting with your main point, then the ingredients are in between the top point and the bottom point. You're proving your point. You're supporting it with examples or reasons, and then you're restating your point. Remember, we're helping you speak clearly and concisely. This is how you speak English with confidence. So again, step 2, use the 1-3-1 method. Here is the third step. Step number 3, focus on key message points. Stick to 2 to 3 main ideas rather than overwhelming with too much information. Think about it. When you watch my English lessons, or when you listen to my English lessons on the Speak English with Tiffany podcast, you know that you're not coming to a lesson that's going to have 1,000 points. No. You're going to have a certain number of points that you can follow along with as you listen to or watch the lesson. So the same is true for you. Your goal is to speak English fluently and with confidence, which means clearly and concisely. And in order to do this, step 3 is focus on 2 to 3 key message points. How can you do this? Don't worry, we'll get back to the lesson. But I want you to imagine this. You're in an English interview and the recruiter asks you a question. Your mind suddenly goes blank. You start second guessing your words, and just like that, your chance slips away. Sound familiar? This is exactly why I created How to Pass an English Interview, a step-by-step guide that teaches you exactly how to answer interview questions with confidence, fluency, and ease. You don't need expensive courses or months of studying. With my proven strategies, real interview examples, and audio practice files, you'll be ready to impress any recruiter with your English. My students are already landing their dream jobs. Now it's your turn. Get instant access to the ebook and the package today by clicking the link right below this video. It's time for you to start preparing for your success. Here's how you can actually do this. First, identify your core message and get rid of any secondary supporting details that don't directly contribute to it. If the point is not going to help you, let it go. Your goal is to give information to the individual listening to you that will help them understand you more, not confuse them. Then ask yourself, what are 2 to 3 things I want my listener to remember? And focus solely on those points. As your English teacher, when I was preparing this lesson, I was thinking about you, how intelligent you are, how smart you are, and how frustrated you can become when other people don't recognize your intelligence because of your English speaking ability. I want to help you. So I said, Tiff, what are the main points? Notice I keep emphasizing speaking clearly and concisely, right? Those are my 2 key points, helping you speak clearly and concisely. So you, again, focusing on your key message points, ask yourself, what are 2 to 3 things that you want the listener to remember? Then break complex ideas into smaller, digestible chunks that are easier for listeners to follow. You might be a scientist. You might be an amazing lawyer, a doctor, whatever your profession is. You are an expert in that field. But when you're sharing that information with someone else, you have to break it down. The complex ideas need to be broken down into smaller, digestible, easier to understand parts. The same is true when you're speaking about any other topic. You want to make sure the listener will be able to understand. So again, step 3, focus on key message points. Step number 4, practice the pause technique. You see, instead of using fillers or other sounds, embrace strategic pauses to gather thoughts. I'm going to show you something. And if you're listening, you will hear it. If you're watching, you'll see it. I'm going to say this one more time, and I'm going to utilize this step. Here we go. Step number 4. Practice the pause technique. Instead of using fillers, embrace strategic pauses to gather thoughts. Now, I said the exact same thing, so you already knew what I was going to say, but I used strategic pauses. Now, you didn't get bored when I paused. It actually probably drew you in even more. So for you as an English learner, wanting to speak English clearly and concisely, notice what I'm teaching you has nothing to do with words, has nothing to do with expressions or grammar rules. Instead, I'm teaching you how to speak with confidence by speaking clearly and concisely. Use the pause. It's your friend, but it has to be strategic. This pause needs to come at the right time. And as you pause, think, my friend. So how do you do this? I want to tell you how to do this. Again, talking about step number 4, practice the pause technique. First, identify natural pause points in your speech, such as between main ideas or at the end of sentences. So you don't want to pause at awkward points in time. Pause after you've made an important point. I really enjoy chocolate ice cream. Let me tell you why. I stopped at the main point. That's not true. I don't really like chocolate ice cream. I don't mind it, but example. All right. Here's the second way. Again, speaking about how you can practice the pause technique. Next, practice counting 1, 2 silently during pauses to maintain a comfortable duration. Again, you're practicing the pause technique. Take your time. 1, 2, then speak. You also can use pauses strategically before important points to create emphasis and build anticipation. Just like I did right then. I paused before I gave you the actual word. So, practice the pause technique. Step number 5. Use simple language. Choose clear, straightforward words instead of complex vocabulary. Listen, I, as your English teacher, I want you to continue improving your vocabulary database. Please do. By the way, check out my other YouTube channel, English Vocabulary with Tiffany. I teach each week brand new words. I want you to learn more vocabulary words. Remember though, we're speaking about the technique of speaking clearly and concisely. You have to know your audience. So it's not just about using large words or bigger words or complex advanced vocabulary. It's about making sure you're getting your point across and being straightforward. Let me explain how you can do this. What you need to do is choose everyday words that most people use in regular conversation instead of formal or technical terms. I am your English teacher, but my profession, I went to college and university for web design. So I studied computer science and art. So my background is actually in tech. I love technology. Each and every week, I'm watching podcasts, the video podcasts, listening to podcasts about tech. I know a lot about tech, but I'm not going to use some of the terms that I'm learning when I'm teaching you English. Why? I want to make sure you understand everything that I'm saying. So choose everyday words that most people use in regular conversation. Next, break down complex ideas into shorter, familiar phrases that are easier to understand. I think you're picking up on the main idea. Your goal is to make sure the person listening to you understands. And then avoid using jargon or industry-specific terms unless absolutely necessary. It's not bad to use the terms, but your goal is to get your message across. Your goal is to be clear and concise. Your goal is to make sure the person listening to you understands. All right? So again, step 5, use simple language. Step number 6, record and review yourself. Listen to recordings of your speech to identify areas for improvement. You'll be amazed by how much you'll improve when you simply analyze yourself. So record yourself either in a video or an audio recording, voice recording, and then listen to yourself or watch yourself, and you'll be amazed how much you will catch. This is a powerful step helping you be more clear and more concise. How can you do this? Use your phone's voice recording app or a dedicated recording device to capture your speech during practice sessions. You can help yourself, my friend. Next, compare the recordings over time to track your progress and identify consistent patterns that need work. In my recording last week, I said this. And in the recording this week, I also said that. I have a habit of ... You'll be amazed by how well you can recognize the things you need to work on. Then, practice the same speech multiple times, recording each attempt to see how your delivery improves with each iteration. Each time you do it, are you improving? Are you utilizing the pause technique? Are you using terms that others will be able to understand? Step number 6, record and review yourself. Step number 7, end with purpose. Listen, I am trying to help you let others know how smart you are. I am trying to give you the tools you need, my friend, to be confident when you speak English, to speak clearly and concisely. And in order to do this, you must end with purpose. Let me explain. Conclude your points clearly rather than letting them trail off. Think about it. I'm teaching you this lesson right now. And if I ended the lesson by saying, well, yeah, hey, there you go. Hope you liked it. No. End with purpose. What I'm teaching you, I'm guaranteeing. If you follow these steps, I'm guaranteeing you will improve. Ending with purpose. How can you do this? Here's the first way you can do this. Summarize your key points in a clear, concise manner at the end of your speech. Use transition phrases like in conclusion or to wrap up to signal you're reaching the end. Hey, I'd like to conclude or I'd like to wrap this up by saying, and people lean in. Okay, what's the wrap up? You can also do this. End with a strong call to action or a memorable statement that reinforces your main message. End with purpose. And you can also remember to avoid introducing new information in your conclusion. Stick to reinforcing what you've already discussed. You don't want to introduce anything new. You're trying to wrap up your message, your idea. End with purpose. So I'm going to end this with purpose by saying, I believe in you. I know you're intelligent. I know you're smart. I know you have the ability to speak English fluently and with confidence. My friend, follow these steps and speak clearly and concisely. I believe in you, and it's time for you to believe in yourself. I'll talk to you next time. Do 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 do. Ha ha! You still there? You know what time it is. Story time. Hey, I said it's story time. All right. I want to tell you a story that I'd like to entitle The Washing Machine. And you will understand why I call it the washing machine in a moment. This story happened 2 years ago. So once a year in the summer, my sister organizes a beach day for all of her friends and family members. Normally there are about 60 people, about 60 or more people who decide to go for this beach day. Great day. We have a wonderful time, great food. The kids love it. The adults love it. It's a great time. So 2 years ago, I invited one of my closest friends. Let's just call her M. And I said, hey, M, you want to come and roll? She's like, yes, come on. Yes, girl, I love it. Now, M, this is important, M can't swim. I can swim. M cannot swim. She said, girl, yeah, I'll come. But who doesn't love the beach, right? You don't have to know how to swim. You can still enjoy, the shallow areas, right? So, woo, mercy. So anyways, this is a precursor to what's about to happen in the story. So anyways, M decides to come and she rides with me. So we drive about 2.5 hours, 3 hours, and we get to the beach. Now, when M and I arrive, we are getting things out the car. My sister, friends, we're all walking towards the beach. And we get to the sandy area, and M and I look out and say, those waves are quite large. And then we look at each other and say, not getting in that water. And we proceed to walk to our spot on the beach, right? We're all together. We're setting up our tents. We're setting up our umbrellas, our blankets, everything, right? So we're sitting, we're talking, and over time, after about an hour or two, the waves kind of die down. I'm not going to lie to you. When we first arrived, the waves were huge. We're like, what kind of crashing waves? What in the world? But they died down. So we're sitting and we're watching the kids play in the water, and some friends, they're my sister's friends and my friends actually, they are really avid swimmers, right? They swim in the ocean a lot. So they get in the water, and there's kind of, I think they call it the break, where, so it's the shallow part and then you see the waves starting to come in, but if you get past the waves, it's very calm. So in the shallow area, the waves are kind of constantly coming in, but just beyond that point, it's very calm. And it looked kind of deep, but they went out, and maybe it was a mom, a dad, and then their kids. And I said, wait a minute, the kids are going out there too? Now the kids could swim too, they were avid swimmers. But it looked like it might have been like 4.5 feet deep, right? I'm 5'6", so it was not that deep. So I was like, oh. They were like, yeah, Tiff, come on. Like, if you just get past the wave, it's not that bad. And they were just standing out there talking. I was like, man, I do want to be in the water. So I looked at M and I said, hey, what do you think? She said, I can't swim. I said, yeah, but it looks really calm. I said, I'll go out first and then I'll let you know. So she said, okay. So now, this is not the first time she and I have been to the beach together. This is, I think, her second or third time. So anyway, so I get in the water, and again, my friends, they're on the opposite side of the waves. They say, Tiff, when the wave comes, just kind of duck down, go under the water, and when you come back up, you'll be where we are, and it's just calm. But you don't have to swim, it's just right here. So I did that, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is great. Like, you can stand in the water, and the waves are in front of you. You don't have to worry about them. So I ended up telling my niece, who can also swim. She's, at the time, I think she was 13, but she's tall. And her friend, I was like, you guys can come out, it's okay. And so they all came out, they were having the time of their lives. So I looked at M and I was like, hey, it's okay out here. I said, I'll come back out, I'll get you, and then you can come out. She said, all right, I'll try it. And I was like, okay, you're being daring today. So I went back again. I had to go with the waves. I kind of like went down to the water, and I kind of went, and it was fine. So I went to where she was, and we kind of walked out together, and I said, okay, the wave is coming, go under the water, let the wave go over you, and then we'll be right on the calm side. She said, okay. I said, 1, 2, 3. We did it, and we were in the calm area. It was great. And our other friends who had been out there, the avid swimmers, were kind of giving us tips and everything like, hey, if you feel that there's a wave kind of coming, just kind of jump in the air with it, and then it'll go over you and continue forward. So we were out there. We had been out there for maybe about 10 or 15 minutes. Everything was fine. M was good. I was good. We were good. And I'm trying to think what happened. I think we might have walked closer. Like we were thinking about getting out, but we were still just kind of relaxing. But the waves started to get just a bit bigger. So in the jumps we were required to jump a bit higher. So you can feel when the ocean, like there's a wave coming. And I had turned and saw a wave coming, and I was like, this ain't gonna be no jumping wave. I said, we're about to have to go underwater for this one. So again, my concern was M. M could not swim. So I was concerned about her. A pool and the ocean, two different things, right? So I said, M. I could feel the wave coming, and then our friends who were avid swimmers were like, hey, a wave is coming, just be calm. You know, you're gonna have to go under and stay under for a little bit, but just don't worry. So again, my concern was my friend M. So I looked at her and I said, hey, this wave is coming. It's gonna be a bit bigger than we expect. So let's just go with it. The wave was bigger than I even expected. So the wave came. Remember I coughed earlier? That wave, and I called this story the washing machine. That wave tumbled dry. The wave came, I flipped multiple times. The entire time I'm flipping, I'm thinking about M. Why? I can swim. I'll figure something out. Once I come up for air, I can doggy paddle, I'm fine. M cannot swim. This wave is turning me, which means I can't touch the bottom. M and I are about the same height. So it's flipping me, and then it goes over, and I look, and she's kind of getting herself together, and I look again, and I was like, oh my goodness, another wave is coming. So I had about 5 seconds. I said, M, another wave is coming. Brace yourself, right? The wave came again. Another wave came. Again, washing machine. Just flipping us. We were just flipping, right? Coughing, flipping. The entire time, I'm thinking about M. The second wave was a bit stronger, though. So it flipped me so much that I was kind of getting disoriented. So I pop out the water after the second wave. I'm trying to collect myself, and I look to the shore, and my sister is on the shore, and she's frantic. So I'm like, oh my goodness, what's wrong? Like, I'm trying to gather myself. I still need to look to see where M is. And so I'm looking at my sister's like, Tiff, get M. And I'm like, what? I'm still trying to gather my thoughts. So I realize she's pointing at my friend. So I turn to my left. The wave has just tossed her like a rag doll. She's alive. Don't worry, she's alive. When I look at her, I mean, her hair's one way, clothes one way, and I'm looking at her, I'm like, M. I said, girl, get yourself together. So anyway, she gets herself together, whatever, and then did another wave come? I'm trying to figure out if another wave, no, she got herself together. I said, we have to get to the shore. She gets herself together. We're getting as fast as possible back to the shore. So we get past another small wave, and we're walking on the shore looking like we have just went through a washing machine. We've went through a war, a storm, and we're walking, we're not saying anything. And then we get to the shoreline and we look at each other. And she said, whoa, we had a time. We said, okay, we're done for the day. We were tossed like some rag dolls. Now, again, I was very proud of my friend. She couldn't swim, but she had agreed to go out in the water. And she said, you know what? Even though I was tossed like a rag doll, she said, I did enjoy myself. I overcame my fear of going into the ocean, and I thank you. But I'm not going back in. Maybe you had an experience with the ocean like this. If so, let me know in the comment section, and I'll talk to you next time.